Welcome to Lynn Cullen Live, talk radio without the static. Email your questions and comments to lynn@pghcitypaper.com. And now your host, Lynn Cullen.
Aha, December 30, 2020, the penultimate day of this horrific year. Why do you think there's a word for the next to last, penultimate? And of course, all of us, when we first saw the term, thought it meant the ultimate, right? So penultimate. Sally assured me the other day that she would be on time, and she's not. So she's not here yet. Being on time, and I said this before, it's so odd because she spent her life in a business where there was no excuse for not being on time. I mean, if you're anchoring the 6 o'clock news, you can't get there at 6:01. And as far as I know, she never did. So it's odd, but given her druthers, because she's sort of always going in a million directions at once, I think, should I text her? Maybe I should. I'll just text her just in case, because I got to tell you, I don't have a show without her. So, okay, I've pretty much punted on this penultimate day because, first of all, I usually made a point of not working this week in between Christmas and New Year's. If you're in the news business, it's a notorious black hole where nothing happens. There's nothing to talk about. That, of course, is not really true now because we're living in this, dumpster fire of a year. But I forgot what I was saying. She's not responding. There she is. I'm coming, she says. I'm trying to get ready for the plumber. Oh, no. All right, guys. Well, we're in for a real Sally morning, I can tell. She has to get a new water heater. Can you say water heater without thinking of that stupid song, Mr. Water Heater, Mr. Water Heater? You hear those two words, water heater, and how do you not think of that awful jingle? I once worked in you can tell this is freeform. I once worked in an advertising agency in Chicago, a biggie, foot, cone, and building. Took up a lot of floors in a big skyscraper there on the Chicago River and Michigan Avenue. And why was I telling you this? Oh, and one of the guys that did write jingles once told me that one of the ways that a jingle is successful is by being annoying. Double your flavor, double your fun with doublemint gum. It has to be simple and repetitious and annoying. Oh, Sally's forgotten how to get in. Hang on, I've got to. Hang on. This is sad. Oh God. I don't think I can do the one she's on. Amy, do you have a way of sending Sally? You don't. Send me the numbers that Sally needs, and I'll send them on to her. Okay, Amy? Because she's mucked it up. Well, this is good. So where was I? Double your flavor, double your fun. I mean, I'm sure you can think of a lot of others. Just sort of annoying, horrible, little stupid jingles and songs. And those are the ones that often are successful because they're earworms. They just immediately burrow into your brain, and you're done. So now that I've done that to you, I'm truly sorry. I saw a little headline. She can just call the normal call-in number. Well, what is that? What? I don't know the norm. Give me the normal call-in number, and I'll send it right to her. That was the one that I guess we were talking to Susan the other day, and she had that different number, right? So hang on, guys. I'm sorry about this, but then this is par for the course. Okay, 412-200-5686. Okay, 412. I already forgot it. 412. I'm sorry. This is an old woman. 200-5686. 200-5686. I'm talking to myself. 200. Oh God. Jeez. This is what happens to your brain when you're old. God dang. 200-5686. I'm as bad as she is. I sound like her now. I'm channeling Sally. God dang it. Okay, hang on. It is. I'm doing a Sally impression without intending to. 200-4686. There. Whew. So she should be here in a minute, and you'll have two ditzy old broads. Amy says she's got a caller, but she's not sure it's Sally. Well, she didn't get that fast. Not the number I have written down. I'm sorry. Forgive me. We could start the show over. We really could. We could just start all over. Do you believe that this god-awful year is going to end tomorrow? I cannot wait. I just cannot wait. Not that January is shaping up to be any better. Hey, take the call, Amy, and let's see if we got anybody here. Oh, that caller hung up. Well, I give up. Just screw it. Maybe Mr. Water Heater is there, and she's I don't know, canoodling with Mr. Water Heater. Mr. Water Heater. So I have to tell you that I saw this little headline. I think I was starting to say this. It's busy, she says. I called in. Well, call again. God dang it. It doesn't make sense. Did I give her the wrong number? Oh, this is, we could win an award for the most messed up show of the year. Meanwhile, outside in my neighborhood, I'm hearing big, loud bangs and noises, which are slightly distracting. Okay, now here's what's going to happen. When Sally finally does get on, we're going to have, I don't want you doing 4686. Try, God damn it, 200. Excuse me, I'm screaming at Sally. She can't hear me. No, she says 4686 is still busy. Amy. Oh, it's 5686. I gave her. Oh, this is just 5686. Okay, listen, I'm trying to do a show, type, think at the same time. But here we go. Two ditzes. She should be here any minute. But you're going to see Sally in true ditz fashion when she gets on. Here she comes, I bet, any minute. She's going to apologize. How many times? If we're doing a drinking game. Sally? God dang it. She hasn't. Still not in. Okay, just screw it. Sally.
I'm on the line. Is that me? Oh.
Yes.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I was pulling literally 100 pounds of weight equipment away from my water heater, and I could still hear ESPN Get Up was still on, so that meant it wasn't 10 o'clock yet. But sometimes they run over, so they had run over. So I'm so sorry. I almost broke my back. The plumber's supposed to be here. So I don't have the water heater is leaking, and it's going to explode if I don't get it replaced today.
All right, we all got that. Okay, I said before, Sally's going to, how many times will Sally apologize when she gets on? And it turns out the number is 2. But this was a thing where, understandably, you could apologize, right? Yeah.
Oh, yes. Oh, my God, yes. And this is what happened. This is the thing about my memory that the small vessel disease does affect, because when I get concentrating on something, I'm not remembering what next I need to do. And that is something, and maybe it's happening because of COVID. I don't think so. This is just, I was told that when I read about small vessel disease in your brain, it's the second leading cause of dementia. So my neurologist said that the way to combat it is to walk outside a lot. Get outside and walk. And they said that's something that can retard it. But it's scary. It is. And because I used to have a photographic memory. And so when things like this happen, it bothers me a lot. So anyway, yeah, I can't apologize enough for being old. Are you there?
Dear God in heaven.
Okay.
Jesus. What? We got from your water heater exploding to small vessel dementia. Okay. What are we going to talk about? This is the last show of this god-awful year.
Are you not doing a show tomorrow?
Why the hell should I? It's December 31st.
Oh, you shouldn't swear like that in front of people.
Well, technically, I'm not in front of them.
No, you know what? That's very good. See, look how sharp you still are. You still are a word wizard. No, actually, I had deleted. I was trying to go through and delete videos from text messages.
Yeah, because they use up so much. Yeah.
Yeah, and space. I deleted doing that with you. I ended up deleting. Remember, you said it'll be further back in your
in the timeline, right? Yeah.
In the timeline. I deleted it.
All right.
it. So that's why I was going not.
Okay. So Sally, here's what I've got in my head because of your damn water heater.
You know that song, my Mr. Water Heater. I'm sorry.
That's it. You cannot say water heater
without singing
without us all going, Mr. Water Heater, Mr. Isn't that true?
That's a great jingle. But you know what's so weird? This is the greatest plumber in the world. He's been here once. He is in such demand. It is very difficult to get him to make an appointment with your house. I had to actually, but he's so amazing, and he's not here yet, which is good. But he's so amazing. But 2 days ago, I was looking out the front door to pick up a package, and guess what? About 4 houses up, guess what car was parked there?
Why?
Mr. Water Heater. No,
yeah.
Mr. Water Heater.
Yeah.
And I thought, I'm glad. I'm sure Mr. Water Heater is very good, but I've got my own Mr. Water.
Oh, I see. It was actually a Mr. Water Heater. I forget that's actually
one.
Mr. Actually, Mr. Okay, it was Mr. Water Heater. Mr. Water Heater.
It was that dude, and I had been singing that song.
Yeah.
But this guy's Mr. Great Plumber. Good plumbers are very difficult to find.
I guess
they are.
You never
realize how important toilets are.
All right, let's not go here. Although I have to admit, I was thinking when I was waiting for you to get on, okay, that's 3. If anyone had the number 3, you just got, okay. So I saw this little headline that said cooking can be deadly. And immediately my head rushed off to this, what I think is an extremely funny story that happened to me where I almost died from a friend's cooking. And I was thinking, well, Sally doesn't show, I'm going to tell that story. I probably told it before. But the story does involve toilets ultimately, So we're back to toilets because it involves what?
You have to tell the story now, because how does cooking involve a toilet except what you do after the cooking?
Well, that is correct, because it involves projectile vomiting.
Ooh.
What? Okay. Quick story.
Tell it.
Quick story. I was married at the time, living in Madison, Wisconsin. My friend Robin and her husband Larry asked us over for dinner. They were the only couple I knew very few couples anyway, but the only couple I knew that cooked. So if you got an invitation to dinner, you were going to actually like eat something, wonderful. So we were all sitting around the dining table, and she brought out this stew, this wonderful stew. We ladled it onto our plates. We all start scarfing it up. And it couldn't have been more than 3 minutes into the scarfing that Larry, her husband, got up and said, "Excuse me," and raced up. They had just one bathroom on the second floor, raced up the steps, was gone for a little while. He came back sort of white-faced and said, "Wow, so that's what projectile vomiting is." And I can't remember who jumped up next. It might have been me. And I ran. Whoa! Total projectile vomiting. In other words, it's not a normal puke. It comes literally propelled as if shot by a cannon out of you. Mm. And my husband and Robin, all four of us within a 5-6 minute period, our bodies totally rejected. I mean, this is what's amazing about the human body, right? 4 different bodies said, this'll kill me, and threw it out. So we were all freaked. We left the table and went into the living room and sat down, white-faced and freaked. And her dog, Ernest Reuben, she had a great way of naming animals. Ernest Reuben, Annie Ding Dong, and Bonnie Mertz were the animals in her house. And Ernest Reuben, the worst behaved dog in the history of dogdom, we looked over, and Ernest had both feet on the dining room table and was scarfing up all of the stew we had left on our plates. And Larry, ever the scientist, said, "Well, now we see." And within 5 minutes,
he was vomiting.
Projectile.
Oh my God, what was in it?
Well, that was our next thing. We were obviously trying to figure that out. And it turns out that there was what the cook, and I'm not sure which one cooked it, the cook thought was garlic, a big bulb of garlic in it. And it wasn't garlic. The other part of the pair had put some kind of flower bulb, I can't remember now, into the refrigerator for whatever reason. And it was a totally poisonous flower bulb.
Ooh, 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 ooh.
But we called a poison control place, and they said, well, as long as you all got rid of it so quickly, I'm sure you're okay. Blah 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 blah. And they did. I mean, obviously at that time we knew what the flower bulb was, and they did say that it was just highly toxic.
Oh my God.
But how amazing is that? That, like, I mean, our bodies can so quickly understand they are in grave danger. Our brains are totally not, we don't know. We're just eating. We don't know. Our bodies took care of it. Every one of us.
And that's actually, I mean, the ability of a body to build defenses against something is how vaccines work.
That is correct.
That's why you get a little sore arm, is because the body is attacking this little bit of the virus.
This thing that came in, right? They immediately started attacking. So
that's so amazing.
Yeah. So cooking can be deadly. And I have to tell you that I have never projectile vomited before or since. And I think a lot of people don't understand what that is. But it is really as if somebody sets off a howitzer in your gut. I've
done it. I've had food poisoning so many times, and I've had dysentery. Now that's the other.
Now let's not go there.
No, but I was having double trouble, and I was in the Bangkok airport. I was in the Bangkok airport. No, and I was in a wheelchair.
Sally,
I'm not gonna go down that road. No, it's about projectile vomiting, and the guy wheeling me around did not speak English, and I was trying to tell him to hurry to get to the bathroom. And
what airport are we in?
Bangkok, Thailand.
In Bangkok.
Anyway, so but I'm not even going to finish that story, but but anyway. So I just wanted to make sure, because I just got a phone call from a 724 number, and I got really worried. I am not saying that Mr. Water Heater isn't a good company, because it was at two different houses.
Well, you stop. You don't have to apologize.
But I just found this guy, and he does a lot of work in my neighborhood, and so he's very good too. So I don't want to say anything bad.
You're out of your mind.
No, I don't.
Mr. Water Heater. No,
but it's
Mr. Water Heater. Okay, speaking of Bangkok, we have an email.
One night in Bangkok, remember?
Yes, that's right. I know. Speaking of Bangkok, Bree has written from Malaysia.
Oh, yeah.
Now, wait. He says, thanks for another year. Happy New Year to you and Sally. And then he says, nothing new to report from Malaysia. The news is all over the place. We're still under lockdown. Most people still go out. One with masks. One is at times lulled into a sense of normalcy with all of this, but we still get messages from the government reminding us it's still dangerous out there. It seems, he says, neighboring Thailand is having an outbreak. But get this, it could be because they are doing more testing. The early reports tried to blame Myanmar migrants. It reminds me of when I asked listen to this. It reminds me of when I ask Malaysians about crime. They usually raise the issue of Indonesian migrants. Isn't that something? That's what people all over the world do?
Yeah.
They blame the other.
There's anyone who can access it. There's an Associated Press investigation that's very alarming. I mean, the more and more that we hear about China's government, not the Chinese, I'm not going to say that, but about the government, it's terrifying.
Yep.
They are scientists, Chinese scientists, and international scientists are all trying to find out where the actual geographical and zoological source is for the virus, and the government is refusing to let any of this get out, but some of it is being leaked out. And the Associated Press has an exclusive report on their efforts to spread disinformation, not just among its people, but to the world about what happened. And they kept it quiet for as long as they could, until it started spreading around the world. We have no idea how long they knew that something was going on. But if you've got internet and you can access it, a good friend, he's kind of like my little brother, surrogate little brother, and Ted Anthony. He's one of the, he's stuck here, but except for when the election went. Did you know that it's AP that eventually calls the election? Did you know that? I did not know that. That at the end of it, it's eventually, I think it is the Associated Press has something major that they say, okay, this is, they're the ones who announced, I don't know what it is, but AP has something to do with it. But anyway, he's doing a lot of work from here, but he's very high up in management at Associated Press. So I always like to, and his wife is a freelance writer. She's superb. And I just posted an article about, that she's just written about how during this pandemic, we think that we're going to get a lot of stuff done, but something odd happens when you're in this unusual state. You don't do what you thought you were going to do.
No. Think of all the things we were going to do.
Yeah, it's a fascinating article. She has used a lot of psychologists, so I highly recommend. It's on my Facebook, and I tweeted it. So anybody who's listening, I recommend reading it. I think we should pimp good writers and people who do good reporting.
So Sally, did when you go and get your hot dogs, you go to Sheetz, right?
Yeah, I only go to the drive-thru. See, all Sheetz don't have drive-thrus, but some of the other ones do.
So I think I mentioned this the other day, and somebody sent me, did you know that Sheetz earned on USA Today's Best Regional Fast Food list? Sheetz actually showed up.
Really?
I'm just telling you, you don't even realize that you are sort of a gourmand.
Well, but I only get the plain little hot dogs. I don't. They have some very fancy sandwiches. They do.
It says here, I mentioned Sheetz to my sister. She never heard of it. And it turns out that it is, and I'm seeing this in USA Today, it's only in Pennsylvania, Maryland, Virginia, Ohio, West Virginia, North Carolina. Okay.
Oh, it's regional. Oh.
Yeah, it's regional and chosen by a panel of experts and voted on by readers. This is a list of the top 5 spots for regional fast food. And Sheetz made the list, coming in at number 14, by the way.
What are some of the others?
Number 14, I thought it was the top 10. I don't know.
Count.
It's based in Altoona.
Really?
And yeah. Oh, it says it took 4th place on the list. Although no single food was mentioned. So just want to say, Sheetz, being mentioned in the same context were In-N-Out Burger, which I think is so overrated, and Culver's, which I don't know.
Never heard.
Wonder where that is. You know a Culver's?
No,
okay, here they are. Here's the top 10. Habit Burger is number 1. You ever heard of them?
Never heard of that. Nope.
Number 2, Pal's Sudden Service. Jesus. Pal's Sudden Service. It almost sounds frightening. Like you're waiting and all of a sudden, like all of a sudden some food comes flying through your window. Pal's Sudden Service. 3 is a place called Whataburger. 4 is Sheetz.
Wait. I've heard of Whataburger. I think I've had a Whataburger somewhere. Yeah, I can't remember where. Yeah,
number 4 is Sheetz.
Yeah.
Beating out In-N-Out Burger that everybody in California thinks is so hot. Number 6 is Quaker Steak and Lube.
I've eaten there once after riding on the back of a motorcycle up to Sharon, Pennsylvania, terrified the whole time. I always have to put something in context. My context can get really long-winded.
Well, but that didn't. Anyway, number 7 is Cookout. Never heard of him. Number 8 is Crystal with a K. Never heard of him. Number 9 is Culver's. Never heard of him. And number 10 is Biscuitville. Never heard of him. But I'm just telling you, when you get those Sheets things where you're going to run through Sheets to get your hot dogs because you're in need of comfort, you're getting just some of the best. I'm just telling you.
Yeah, well, that's nice. That's nice to know. But the thing is, if I would just get one hot dog, it would be okay. But I always have to get 2.
I know.
And
they're little.
Because on a little
hot dog is
punch it in. When you punch it in,
yeah,
it says our top favorite, and so one of the top favorites is 2 hot dogs. Well, then when you go through it, it flashes up and it says the number, and I can change that number to 1. But I always think that it's just too much trouble for my little finger to do that, so I go. It's easier to do the 2. But I would feel less like I wanted to throw up, because when you eat 2 of them really fast,
you do eat really fast, yeah. So you gobble, they're gone in.
Have you ever seen
the
way a dog eats?
That's what you do. I've seen you eat. So
someone was watching me. It was this great photographer we had, Spencer Simon, and we stopped at McDonald's in Monroe.
Sally, you're laughing so hard I can't understand a word you're saying.
We were.
This is you and a photographer, Spencer Simon.
Simon. He was a great guy.
Love him.
And so we stopped at a McDonald's in Monroeville that's very near where you get on the turnpike. And so if anybody knows the geography of that region, by the time I ordered a quarter pounder, by the time we got to Penn Hills, not even Penn Hills, we weren't all the way. We were halfway to Penn Hills on, the parkway.
I gotcha. I know exactly where you are.
I had finished it. He looked at me and he said, "Did you even chew that?" And so when I watch dogs eat, I mean the ones that are voracious. It's like, I just tear it apart. It's awful, and it's one reason I have a little bit of reflux, a little bit. I'm sure
I got a lot of reflux. So listen, Sally. Somebody had, and I can't remember, somebody emailed me a while back after you'd been on the show before and said, when Sally's on, it was implied criticism of my use of you as a guest, was ask her about, her favorite, who are the most interesting people she's interviewed and blah, 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 blah. And I was thinking, who does she like? Who does she not like? And I was thinking, that is first of all, I hate those questions coming at me, myself. Secondly, I said, Sally is incapable of saying anything negative about anybody.
That's not true. Oh my God, I talk
about
all the time, Nina.
Okay, wait. You were just apologizing wait a minute. You were just apologizing for an implied criticism of Mr. Water Heater.
No, it's just a jingle. It's not their work if we're
okay. Now, then tell us a story about a local celebrity that doesn't show them in a good light.
I can't. I would never do that. Okay, and
tell us a story.
You know what? It all, in the 2 years that I've been away, I don't even watch it anymore. It's like it's that my whole life has become what I wanted my life to be when I was a junior in high school. It's now become that.
That's great.
There's a lot of people who don't get to eventually do what the love of their life was.
Yeah, and now you're hanging out with exotic animals and
and some of the top people in the world I'm meeting.
Yeah,
I'm getting to meet them or be part of like lives. I mean, like these they're like where there are only 500 people listening to Jane Goodall on a Zoom. You're invited to that Zoom. You're one of 500. That's awesome. And so it doesn't. So it's funny. I mean, there were people I interviewed. It was so funny. When Kevin Green died, I cried because
Kevin Green, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, a football player.
Yeah, and a great football player.
Who died recently.
He died suddenly, 58. He was terrifying on the field, but he was such a funny, sharp, bright guy, and his wife had a voice of an angel and sang the national anthem. It was the first year I was doing these pieces, and back then the Steelers would let us go to these players' homes and interview them in their homes, and so all of my profile, and it made it easier to have video when we weren't allowed to do that because basically our local show was blanking out either at the time ABC Monday Night Football's pregame or ESPN's pregame. And those larger networks didn't like that we had an hour and a half on that was blanking them out. So the NFL teams wouldn't allow the locals most of the time. Sometimes they would make exceptions and allow you to go to their homes, but it changed. The NFL tightened everything up, for local media, and because everything was licensed, But anyway,
so I remember.
Kevin Green was so.
See, but Sally, nobody wants to hear about people being nice. See,
really? Well, then you know what?
These are not.
They could go eat a bug. They can go eat a bug and then projectile vomit it. I was going to say they can go eat mares.
The good stories are the ones where you tell people that some hero of theirs is a jerk. Those are the good stories. You can do it on the national level of someone who's now dead. How about that? No, she's not going to do it. She's not going to do it.
The only time I had a problem and I was shocked.
Okay,
was Ted Koppel.
Oh, I thought you were going to. That's interesting because I had a problem with Ted Koppel and I had a problem with Ted Turner. Now, when you said Ted, I first thought Turner, but then you said Koppel and I had a problem with him too. There you go.
I interviewed Ted Turner. He was at a Bison convention in Denver and it was the AFC Championship game, and he was in the lobby, and I was trying to get over to him to interview him. We were interviewing Steeler fans in the lobby because it was the Steeler hotel, and he kept running. He literally was running away from me, and I was chasing him.
I interviewed him, Sally, on the Action Noon News in studio.
Oh, wow.
Do you remember? I met him first in the green room before the show, and he was wearing this disgusting fur coat.
Ooh.
And he literally had 2 babes with him. I am not kidding. I hated him on sight.
Yeah, but he cleaned his act up when he got older.
But that guy, and he said something snarky to me about, surprising, a young, attractive, but he was obnoxious.
Wow.
Ted Koppel, on the other hand, who, by the way, I recently saw pre-pandemic in a bathing suit.
Ooh.
He's got for an old guy. There wasn't an ounce of fat on him.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
He was very white though.
Well, white people are white.
Yeah, but some are whiter.
I'm very white.
I remember my son once saying to me something about black and white when he was young, and it was a very disconcerting dichotomy because he's brown.
Oh, that's very funny.
Yeah, and I said, honey, do you really know any? I said, it's not like, do you know anybody who is black, really black? And he said, no. And I said, and Sam, do you know any person who is what you think of as, of white? And he thought for a second, and then he said, and I won't give the guy's name because he still lives in town. He said, Matthew. And I cracked up laughing so hard, I thought I was going to die, because this kid was so white that he almost seemed translucent. So he couldn't, wow. I bumped into that kid's mother recently walking my dog when I could walk my dog, and I told her that story. She was howling. I thought she might get offended, but of course she didn't. She thought it was a riot. Anyway. Okay.
Well, let me tell you just really, I'll tell you, and I'll make it very, very quick. I'll
Ted
tell you two times. And the Ted Koppel.
And he's not even dead, by the way.
Well, no. The Ted Koppel thing was, it was my fault. He has a home in Deep Creek. So he knew who I was because Deep Creek, the station that they get is Channel 4. So he had visited here once at the press club, and Channel 4 had a party for him. And I talked to him afterwards. So he knew who I was. And so I knew that he had a wicked sense of humor. And I was trying to get him to be funny. One thing you have to learn as an interviewer, don't ever try to get a subject to do something you want them to do.
Exactly.
Open the door and let them walk through it. And that was, and I knew better than doing that. I knew it. I'd interviewed a lot of people. And so he told a story that was so off color, I was not going to be able to use it. And it was like him saying there. And then
he did it on purpose, so you couldn't use it.
You know what?
Right.
Screw it. And the station wanted me to ask these stock questions. And I said, you know what? The hell with it. I'm going to ask him about journalism and about the theory of journalistic coverage. And I said, because that will be something that is more intellectually to his liking. And you know what? As we talked, and of course the station didn't want me to use any of it. As we talked, you can see his body language. He starts leaning forward, which means he was engaged. And right. I saved it. I saved it, and I just wanted to do it because I felt so bad. The second thing I did actually may have affected the election. Of you know what? I'm not going to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. No, I'm not going to tell that story. No.
Something you did affected an election? Wait a minute.
No. I'm not going to tell the story.
Something you did affected an election?
Yeah, but you know what? I'm not going to tell the story because all of the people are still alive. So I'm not going to tell the story. The other thing was, and this person is alive. This wasn't a mistake. This was Barbara Walters. We were the only people. It was going to be an anniversary of her special. And we had a news director who was the president of the affiliate board of all stations in the country. And so he was able to get us the first interview, a pre-interview. Nobody, not even the networks had it, and not even WABC had it. So we went up there. I was terrified. It was 1988. I was terrified. My hair looked awful. I saw pictures of me. My hair looked terrible. And I was just bad. But anyway, it was Barbara Walters. And it was a day she was going to be taping the intros to 2020 because she did 2020 with Hugh Downs. And so we walked in, and she has one side that she doesn't want to be shot on.
Right.
And and I won't go into why, but it's not a good side for her. And we were set up so that the lighting was on that side.
She has a swastika. This is little known that Barbara Walters has a swastika tattooed on her left cheek.
No, she doesn't.
Oh, really? Sally!
Oh, is that misinformation?
No, I'm talking about you're saying that. Never mind.
Oh,
okay.
Anyway, but so she said, I can't do this. And I said, give us 5 minutes, please. Give us 5 minutes. And all the lighting, the photographer was Kim Lowe, he was able to do it in 2 minutes. It wasn't even 5. She came back down, and I did what she often does. I started throwing away the questions. I just threw away my card. I just started asking her stuff. She was only supposed to do maybe at most 6-8 minutes with me, maybe 10 at most. 20 minutes later, Hugh Downs' producer walks in and said, Barbara, you have to end this interview. We have to start shooting our ins and outs. She had stayed with me and then looked at me and she said, she complimented me. She said, you're really something. It looked at me and was so nice. And it was an instance where you almost lost it because of a mistake that was made because you didn't do your homework and about this, and then it turned out to be great.
I don't even understand first of all, false pretenses. I thought you were going to tell us a story about Barbara Walters being a jerk.
No, she wasn't a jerk, but she
No, you told a story about how you were, you disarmed her.
Well, no, I didn't disarm her. We just started talking. But no, we pissed her off initially because I didn't do my homework.
Oh.
So anyway, I will tell you this. When I did a feature on Greg Lloyd, I've never been afraid of somebody. I was never afraid of James Harrison.
Okay.
He always made me laugh. But Greg Lloyd scared the hell out of me. And it was just the way he was. It was his persona on the field. It kind of took it off the field.
Yeah, I was going to say, who's Greg Lloyd? So it's another football player.
Oh,
right?
my God. You have to know who Greg.
No, I don't. No, I don't.
Yeah, he was on the Steelers that went to the Super Bowl in Tempe, Arizona. Tempe, Arizona.
I went to the Super Bowl in Tempe, Arizona.
No, you did.
Yes, I did.
You were there. Yes, you were there.
Yes, I did. I was there for a whole goddamn week.
Yes, that's right.
I hated every minute of it.
I know you didn't like it. That's right. You did feature pieces. That's right. You actually went to the San Francisco Miami Super Bowl because it had we sent a whole team there. You sent you went with my boyfriend. You with my boyfriend.
Yes, we did. We had a good time.
The love of my life.
Yep, you blew that one.
That one get away. I did.
Yeah,
I did.
You blew that one.
I believe that my life has been ruined since that because I've been punished for it.
Well, yeah. So I went to that one too. But let's be quite clear.
Why am I yelling at you? I'm yelling.
I didn't go to either of those Super Bowls. Do you know I was flying back? I was on a plane flying back to Pittsburgh when the Tempe Super Bowl was being played.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not like you go to the Super Bowl. You don't. You go to the craziness of Super Bowl for a week prior. And here's what's weird about that flight back to Pittsburgh. There was a football player on that flight, and I was shocked that he wasn't at the game. And it was, and I'm blanking now on his first name, it was Cam Hayward's father.
Oh, Ironhead Hayward.
Ironhead Hayward.
Yeah.
Hayward. He was on that flight.
Yeah, but he was never a Steeler. He was a
No, I know he wasn't, but if he was in Tempe, he didn't have
he did play in the NFL, but I can't remember who, and I'm sure somebody in your audience is going to remember.
But anyway, I'm just saying, I thought, well, so he didn't get to go to the game either. Screw him.
Well, a lot of them don't. You know, I remember Mike and Mike. I interviewed them several Super Bowls that we were in because we were in a bunch of them, and I would interview them because they would often bring their show to Pittsburgh, and I remember watching them. They would always leave. Friday was their last show, and they would leave. And they wouldn't stay. Seen one Super Bowl, seen them all. I'm very grateful that I got to cover them, but they're not assignments. It was so funny. The Detroit one, a lot of the people were all excited and they were saying, "Oh, this is going to be great," blah 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 blah. And I just looked at the room and I said, "Give it 24 hours, then talk to me." It didn't even take 24 hours. It was you end up being just bitching about what a
miserable
neck it was. Yeah.
You know, though, before you did all those Steeler reports, I did the Steeler reports. And I want to tell you, I traveled with the team always. So this was for I went to Chicago for a game, and I actually got to run onto the field. I ran onto the field with the Bears just because. And my photographer was running because I was doing a thing actually on one of the Bear players, Refrigerator Perry. Remember him?
Oh my God, that was the '85 team. And that was Mike Ditka. That's why you were. Oh my God.
I don't know. That's not why. They sent me to every one. I did all the they carried preseason games.
Oh my God, and that's right. Wait a minute. And Timmy was the producer of the preseason game.
Yeah, and I went. I was part of the production crew before, which was Stan Savran and Jack Ham.
And Jack Ham was one of the
and me.
One of the who
we were the
game.
three. Yeah.
Yeah, they would call the game. Oh my God, I forgot. See, I can't believe I forgot. And Timmy was the producer for all of those. God, you spent a lot of time with Timmy.
Babe, I did.
By the way, to your audience, Tim was the name of the guy that I
let slip through her fingers. Yeah. Great guy.
Brilliant guy. Went on to national fame.
A great producer, yes.
Considered one of the great sports producers in the country. Oh God, shoot me.
Too bad, you blew it.
I know.
Well, no, but but that led to that great story in Palm Springs of because I was known to the Steelers, and talk about going to their homes. I was in so many of their homes. Who was the center after he's in the Hall of Fame after Mike Webster?
Wait. Oh, no.
Starts with a D. First name starts with a D.
Oh God, I know him. He was from Kentucky, and now he lives in San Diego. And we saw him at a Steelers thing, and he was there. And
I want to say Dante, but it's not right. Dante.
No. Oh my God, I hate this.
I know, me too. I can't think either. But I did an entire story on him. I did an entire story on him making dinner for his wife. Because at the time, it was unbelievable to think that a man would be in a kitchen making dinner.
And you know what? I was in his home. And then when I started doing the Steeler special, that's another home I was in with his kids.
No, Dawson. Okay.
It's
anyway.
Hold on.
I can't believe we ended up talking about friggin' football.
Oh my God. Oh, here it is.
What's his name? Dawson. It is.
DeMonte Dawson. No.
There. See, I was close. I kept thinking Dawson, Dante, DeMonte, whatever his name is, Dawson. Okay.
DeMonte, yeah, I got it right. It is DeMonte Dawson. It's DeMonte. Yeah. He hit me in the head. It was so funny. It was after I gotten to know him really well, and I was at this. It was a Caring Foundation, and Chuck Noll was there, and Lynn Swan was there, and I was. It was a golf tournament, and I didn't know how to play golf, and it was at Laurel Valley, and everybody was at the practice range, and so I was just taking some practice swings. And back then, I had not played a lot of golf back then. Then all of a sudden, I get this big piece of dirt hits me in the head, this big divot. And I turned around, and DeMonte's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, Sally. Oh, I'm so sorry." He was just swinging the club, and he just really got this big divot and hit me right in the back of the head.
I thought you were saying you hit him in the back of the head.
No,
he hit you.
He hit me.
Oh, he hit you in the back of the head.
I thought Lynn was the guy laughing.
Yeah, he was a nice guy. So let's stop. I don't like talking about football.
Oh, you know what I've decided? I love football.
I hate it.
You know why I love football? Is because it's so complicated. Football is really complicated. And for anyone to think that any football player who is really, really good, who's good and makes it to the NFL level is stupid, they may have a different kind of intelligence, but if you knew how complicated those plays are, and when you sit down and listen to them talk and you look at a playbook, it's actually almost mathematical. It is like watching, well, and this is what's awful. It's like military strategy. I hate war, but strategy and figuring out where things go, that's really complicated. It's something I could never comprehend, but watching it play out and then predicting what someone is going to do. And I was so tickled this weekend. I'm not going to talk any more football, but I just want to say this. I was texting back and forth to our former sports producer who now works has a great job with Dick's Sporting Goods. And so he and I were texting back and forth and we were watching a play, which a really short pass behind the line of scrimmage. And I said, and I texted him, I said, you know, they don't have a running game, but this short passing game is their running game. That's what they're using this as now. And as I said that, as I typed that,
the play-by-play guy said the same thing.
Said the same thing.
And I got to tell you, Wiggin, you're something. That's it. You're something.
I was so tickled with myself. And I know so little. You know, people like Ed Bouchette and Jerry Dulac and Gene Collier, what they know about the game, I mean, do they always enjoy covering it? But what they know about the game is quite amazing. But then the players, so when people say they're big,
I thought you were going to stop.
I'm sorry. I'm going to stop. I'm sorry. But I've been watching, you know, I've been watching football all morning. So I'm sorry. I'll be quiet.
Okay. Thank you. So I'm just going to, you can only say two teams. Who's going to be in the Super Bowl? You can only say two.
Green Bay and Kansas City.
I think so too. Okay.
I'd love to see it be the Steelers, but I don't think that's going to happen.
No, they're not going
to. Because they don't have a running game, and because their defense has been decimated by injuries, which is so sad. Because they.
But I'll tell you, you know, those short behind scrimmage passes is their running game.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Oh, for God's sake.
See, I'm sorry.
I mean, no, it doesn't matter. Do you know how lousy this mail is that I get? My mail just showed me that a whole bunch of you were screaming at us, Dermontti Dawson, Dermontti Dawson, Dermontti Dawson. And it just came up. And no, and I know because I looked at my other account, my whole other account that you didn't even send Dermontti Dawson to, and it showed up on that one, which gets.
Does that mean we have dementia, or that we just have so many names in our heads?
No, I don't know. There's no personally in my lovely head. That Dermontti Dawson's name should disappear somewhere into the corners of it makes perfect sense. Why would he be front and center? But center, front and center, Sally. You don't get any of my jokes. Okay.
But see, I can tell you exactly what the street looked like, where he was standing in the Steelers bar, how tall he was. Exactly what he said to me. I can remember those things, but something about names is just.
I know. Me too.
I can tell you where we were sitting in the huge TV that was in front of me in his home here in Pittsburgh when I interviewed him. I can tell you the story about him hitting, but I couldn't remember his name. What the heck is that?
Well, when I interviewed him, he was a rookie, and he didn't live in any big friggin' home. He had a little apartment. A little teeny apartment. It was his rookie year.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, wow. That was when they were rebuilding. That was in the midst of a rebuilding. Yeah. What are you laughing about? You were still talking about football. I'm so sorry, but I had forgotten you were the feature person for those programs, for those the pregame shows. When we broadcast all the pregame.
Yeah, we did.
And
what? I had to have been in the 80s
It was after Jack Ham retired, so.
Yeah.
Jack, he was what a nice guy. Nice.
Well, yeah, that was a nice guy. But yeah. So one of the things that happened when I went to see my parents, they had a place in Palm Springs, as you know. You went there. We went to Palm Springs once. This was without you. And my father said that he was taking us to this restaurant. He said, well, you are going to see, famous people. They're always there. And so we were all excited. We were going to go and gawk. And it was the whole family, my sister, my brother, I don't know, I think my uncle was there. There was a bunch of us, I don't know why. And we went to this restaurant. I'm looking around. I don't see anybody. And I was really giving my dad a lot of trouble. There's nobody here who's famous, not a soul. He says, Frank Sinatra was here the last time I was here. Frank Sinatra walked right in that door. I said, well, there's nobody here now. And then who walks in the door? But Dan Rooney.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Dan Rooney and the PR guy, what's his name, Gordon. And the whole Joe Gordon, and the whole Steeler management ownership, they all walked in. I said, "Oh, look, celebrities," which I could have seen in Pittsburgh, and they walked right past our table and into a private room. And my sister says, send them, this is when I'm doing the reports on the Steelers. She says, send them in a bottle of wine. And I said, I'm not sending them in a bottle of wine. She said, do it. You got to send them in a bottle of wine. So we called the wine steward over, and I said, I'd like, to send a bottle of wine into that room. And I looked at the wine list. There wasn't a bottle of wine under $150.
Well, your dad could afford that.
Well, it wasn't him. He didn't say send in a bottle of wine. It was me. So I said, oh, my God, I can't send the cheapest one in. So I can't remember. I think I sent a $200 bottle of wine.
Oh, my God.
And with the note, hi, Lynn, blah, blah, blah. Well, here's the rest of the story. The rest of the story is maybe about 20 minutes later, a bottle of wine showed up at our table two bottles of wine showed up at our table from the Steelers. Okay. And I never heard another thing about it until WTAE was negotiating with the Steelers for the next year's, the deal they strike for the pregame shows. And I was told by, who was that woman who ran programming then? But Judy Gerard. I was told by Judy Gerard that at the meeting, I think it was, I don't know if it was Gordon or somebody said, hey, if we're crunching the numbers here, we're out over $400 because Lynn Cullen sent us a bottle of wine, and I didn't look at the prices. I just said send two to her table. It was over $400. So Judy Gerard told me the rest of the story.
That's very funny. Oh, that's too funny. That is too funny. Oh my God, that's just and Joe Gordon was just a great guy. I know him. I know him well. I haven't talked to him in a long time, but But will you remember? And it's 11:04, and the plumber isn't here, and I'm getting worried. But we've told the story about Steve Garvey and being at Spago, right? We've told that.
Yeah, we've told that. Yeah.
I think And he sent us a bottle of wine, didn't he?
I don't remember that.
He sent us.
I don't remember much about that one.
Yeah.
I remember they had a unisex bathroom, which freaked me out.
Well, I remember I had a hole in my stocking, and I was obsessing about it the entire time because it was just a very famous restaurant. Oh shit! Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to swear.
Oh, you did.
Okay,
okay, we're done. Listen, I bet Mr. Water Heater would have been on time.
No, stop that.
Mr. Water Heater wouldn't have kept you waiting.
But anyway, no, it's not. He's not keeping me waiting. But I'm so. But you know what? It was so. God, it was so neat to remember. I had forgotten all about those games and Timmy producing them and it was like in the 80s. It started. I can't remember. It was.
Well, we had fun. I mean, I did have fun doing some of them, but
because I began dating Timmy right after my divorce, and it was like after that. So it was like 84, 85, 86, something like that. It was. Oh yeah.
Hey, is your ex?
Sally, you were really upset. You were upset about the hotel and everything. You were staying at a different hotel than we were, I think.
Are you still?
I remember that.
Wait, is your ex? You just mentioned you were divorced.
Is he still alive?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I've searched obituaries, and I can't. I can't find him.
He's not dead yet.
2 years ago, he was alive.
Oh, okay.
15 years older than I was, so he may.
Yeah, he might not be around. But the great thing was, Sally was married to a guy who had the greatest name.
Oh no! Don't say it. Don't say it in front of all these people. No, don't do that.
I can't do even just the last name.
Yeah, because people start Googling. I kind of am uncomfortable with that.
Okay, well, let me just tell you, it was the greatest last name. And if she had taken the name, it would be almost too much to be an anchor and have that name.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It was,
But I was only when we divorced, I was only the weekend anchor. It wasn't until. But yeah, I'm sorry, Lynn. I don't think it's a good idea, just in case.
It's okay. I'm not saying it. I backed off.
Because he has children in Pennsylvania. So yeah, I don't want to do that.
Okay. I think we're done. The next time you guys hear from me, it'll be another year, and there'll be a surge in the pandemic, and Donald Trump will still be the fucking president, and God knows what he's going to do in between now and then. So God help us. I'm going to leave What?
I'm so sorry to your listeners because we started out, it's so weird because of my mistake, and I don't think I was very good this hour, so I want to apologize to them because I was. There
you go. If you had them 4 apologies from Sally, then you win. You got a 4th one in. Good for you, Sally.
Okay.
I'm going to leave everybody with what I'm looking at a quote from somebody, another sports figure, but not football. This is a baseball figure. And I bet you'll be able to figure out who it is once I give you the quote. But I think it's just perfect, given the uncertainty of our lives now. And here's the quote. If you don't know where you're going, you might wind up someplace else.
Don't tell me that was Yogi Berra.
Of course it was.
But you know what? In its idiocy,
it's brilliant. That's right. He's like the court jester. Right. It's brilliant. If you don't know where you're going, you might wind up someplace else.
Oh my God, that's true. That's fabulous.
Those are my last words of this year. And God, guys, see you in 2021, which is right around the corner.
It already
Sally.
feels like it's 2021.
Huh?
But thank you for having me on your last show of this year. I still have to write holiday cards. I haven't written my holiday card.
Oh, don't even bother. What nonsense.
No, but you know what? It's technically for Orthodox. It's still Christmas holidays until January 6th, so I have time.
Well, for some Orthodox, yes, that's true.
Yeah. So it doesn't matter. Well, that's when, but anyway, it's when the wise men came, and the wise men came afterwards. So just, I'm a wise woman, and so I'm sending my cards late. I like that. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm losing it.
We're all losing it.
I didn't get much sleep last night. I got about 3 hours sleep last night.
We're all losing it. May your new water heater may it be the last one that you ever have to purchase, because those are the kind of purchases that cost quite a bit of money and give you
no, this is under warranty,
immediate pleasure.
It's failed.
Oh, it's under warranty. Okay, yeah. Cool. Well, then this is cool. Well, give our best to Mr. Water Heater. Give our best to him, your water heater guy. And Sal, thanks. And Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Happy effing New Year.
Are you walking my dog today?
Well, if he doesn't get here soon, I'm not. But no, I'll be there. I will be there. But today's Natural Habitat Daily Dose of Nature is about moose. So I'm going to get there right at like 4:15 because I'll watch most of the moose.
You can watch all the moose thing. It doesn't matter. And anyway,
it's still light until 5 o'clock. It is.
What do you get? It's okay. It doesn't, it doesn't get like black out. It doesn't get, it's still, you can see.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's 11:11. Anybody who's listening to this, how do people listen to this? They must think that we're just effing nuts.
I would think that might be, yes, a conclusion they would draw. So, Sal, I'm getting off.
Hang up. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Hang up. Bye. Bye.
Bye. You hang up. She hung up, right? Okay. Well, yeah, that was weird. But what the heck? Listen, guys, Happy New Year. Happier New Year. Let's all let's all hunker down and make it through so that we can finally celebrate sometime again. I'm babbling now too. Okay, thank you for being there. I'm saying that to the 3 people who are still there. And toodaloo.
Lynn Cullen Live, Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and archived at pghcitypaper.com. The opinions expressed on Lynn Cullen Live are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the viewpoints of Pittsburgh City Paper or its advertisers.